Hi, I'm TEB. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Beauty Trades Podcast, where we will be having one beautiful conversation at a time. In this podcast, we are going to deal with some context. Context is very important for you to understand so that we could be on the same page. So why is context so important? Context helps to provide some background information. You can be easily misunderstood if you don't have background information. Of course, you can have general background information, and then you can have detailed or specific background information. And it would help for you to have this type of intel so that you wouldn't have a lot of misinterpretations. A good place to start with some context is with some history. Remember in the TEB video, I said I worked for about 10 years before I went to beauty school. How was that possible? How could you work for 10 years and then go to school? It depends on where you are. In the mind of one particular person, should you go to school first and then be a professional barber rather than the other way around? Context would make the world of difference. So let me provide a little bit of context so you can understand how was it possible for me to do that. In the Bahamas, I was born the same year that we gained independence from Great Britain. They were over us for about 300 years as our colonial rulers. But Great Britain, during that time, they were just basically interested in getting rid of pirates, reaping taxes from renting the land to the landlords, and also enforcing their control and subjugation on the majority of the people. They also did a lot of other things as well. But let me just stick a pin there and let me deal with independence, because let me be clear to you that the road to independence was not paved with gold. It was filled with a suppressed people. They were vulnerable and they were exploited. We had so many infrastructural needs. We needed massive education reform, and we established border security. We didn't really have border security at that time. So 50 years has passed and we have made a lot of improvements in our country, but we fail so far to make improvements in the beauty trades industry. Unfortunately, there are no regulations in our country. Let me say it another way. We don't have any act or law or statute that governs the beauty trades industry. There is no national exams. Other countries have national exams for beauty trade practitioners. In our country, there is no barber or Cosmo board, no registrar, no accountability for beauty trade practitioners. That's the most disappointing thing about living in a country where there's not any regulations. The customers aren't really protected. So a question would be interesting at this time. Why is it taking the Bahamas so long to become regulated? Let me give you some context about the length of time. Remember what I said, that it's about 50 years now, right? How long do you think that it took the United States to be regulated in their beauty trades industry? 20 years? 80 years? It took them even longer. They gained independence in 1776. But guess what? In 1897, 121 years later, in Minnesota, was when they first passed their barbering law. 121 years later. Now, the law was very good. I would mention 4 things about the law. It sets some minimum requirements about education, which I think is extremely important. It also is set basic minimum requirements for sanitation, and then there were licensing requirements for barbers and the licensing requirements for the barber shops. 2 different types of licenses there. it hasn't been that long in the scope of really looking at the context of other countries. 50 years has passed now, and we're getting a lot of traction in providing those necessary skills, those necessary literature, so that we could become regulated. We are well on the road to regulations. It's slow, but I trust that we won't take 121 years. It isn't the time to put a feather in our cap yet, because we still have a lot of work to do. What is also fascinating is Antigua and Barbuda, Aruba, Dominica, Dominican Republic, listen now, Guyana, Haiti, St. Kitts and Nevis, Trinidad and Tobago, Turks and Caicos, and Martinique. All of them are in the exact same condition of being unregulated as the Bahamas is. Did you know that? And there are about 5 countries that are in a special case. They're partially regulated. Let me give you an example. The British Virgin Islands, they have the nail tech, the hairstylists, and the barbers are regulated, and all the others are unregulated. Belize is another one. Their hairstyling and barbers, they are regulated, but all of the others are unregulated. No regulation in waxing and nail tech, lash tech, all of the other massage therapy. The Cayman Islands, interestingly, they have massage therapy regulated, and all of the others are unregulated. Cuba is another one where there's no regulations except massage therapy. Interesting. The United States Virgin Islands has some regulations here and there, but these are the champions, I would call them. St. Lucia, a beautiful document of regulation. They have a wonderful, strict regulations within their country, and I love their document. Puerto Rico is another one. Jamaica, they have regulations. I started to look at some of their regulations. Very nice literature. I love where they're going. Barbados also has very strict regulations as well. So there are some countries that are regulated, and I desire for us, Bahamians, to join these 5-star countries of being regulated in their beauty trades industry. And we are on the road. What I find interesting in our country, and I think that the other unregulated countries would also find it interesting, is that in the unregulated conditions, I think that there are a lot of difficulties in uniting the beauty trades communities. There is no fostering of collaboration and cooperation within the communities nationally. We don't have a beauty trade industry, a beauty trades community in the Bahamas that's strong and vibrant. I think that is a result of not having a common law, common regulations that would bring everybody with the same mindset so that they could have that same movement of progress within their various disciplines. I also think that we do have some organizations that are moving in some very positive directions, mind you. I think that you have Faces of Beauty that's moving in a wonderful direction. BTVI, they have a beautiful curriculum, and they're moving in a great direction. I also think that the Bahamas Cosmetologists and Barbers Association are moving in the right direction as well. But we need to come as a cohesive force so that we could have one strong voice that would be heard nationally. And we can have that voice that is saying that we need to sit at the national table to air our concerns and also to have a seat at that table so that we could bring more structure and we could bring the respect and we can bring organization to the industry itself. Now, listen to this now. I think what we're really lacking is a disciplined force. I am not trying to get in any type of political movement. No. But I think having a disciplined force is essential for what a lot of us don't recognize. We are in a beauty trades war. Yes, it's a war out there. Talk to some of your customers. You have some experiences of how unprofessional some of our businesses are. You have the experiences of not having anyone to go to so that you can hold them liable for whatever type of bacteria that you may have contracted, whatever type of challenges that you may have with that service provider. There is no one that you can go to. But having a disciplined force, I would say, is extremely important because disciplined people understand the power of unity. They understand that they have to resist isolation. They see the collective good as a common goal. Let me also add that this platform is not a platform just to talk about negativity within the industry. No, this is a platform so that we could talk about some of the issues that's holding us back and that's stifling our growth, and some of the issues that we would hide underneath the rug and some people would refuse to participate in because they think that nothing is going to change. They think that the type of service that they're going to experience is not going to change, so it doesn't make any sense bringing any light on the issue. This platform is to bring some light so that the beauty trades industry, without a doubt in my mind, would have these realities open, and so that we can have the must-have conversations that are necessary to have a meaningful contribution in the future deployment of the Bahamas, talking about this industry now, because our future is pinned to what we do right now within this industry. And I recognize it. And I also realize that you're going to have some people who are going to kick and scream, and they love things just the way they are. But let me be clear that a part of my mission is to expose those type of ideas and to have a conversation with those type of individuals, because I believe that having an open conversation is very healthy, whether you are for or whether you are against, so that we can have one beautiful conversation at a time. Please comment, share, subscribe, and like. This is TEB from the Bahamas Beauty Trades Podcast, where we will be having one beautiful conversation at a time.